And we're live. And it's very dark, but we are live. I feel like it's been forever since I was last on here. Okay, let me make sure our lighting is good. You'd think that YouTube would let you test this ahead of time, but no. There we go. All right, we're gonna hope that that works, everybody. I see somebody has joined. Welcome back. Oops, things are falling. Hang on. There we go. Welcome back. Welcome back. I took a week off. It was good. It was necessary. But we turned and we are going to work out the same as always. I've got my very excellent shirt on this evening. I've got my uterus earrings on this evening. So we're in for a good night. We're going to be doing full body strength training as per usual. Same format that we left off on, low weight, high rep. Starting with some core, going into some lower body, going into some upper body. It's going to be a blast. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh yes, equipment. You will need 2 light hand weights or 2 food cans, as I always use. And that's all you'll need for tonight. Everything else is just going to be straight up body weight. So let's get warmed up, shall we? Starting with our arm circles, 10 back, 10 forward. Seriously, feels like I took a month off. Feels like a very long time since I did this. Maybe just because a lot has happened. When you get to 10 going backwards, we're going to do 10 coming forwards. I hope everybody has been staying well and staying healthy. I feel like if you're in the Bay Area, as you know, it has been impossible to predict how the air is going to be on any given day. So done with our arm circles, and we're going to do some thoracic or mid-back twists. So nice wide stance in the legs, dropping down towards the ground, and then just rotating up one arm at a time, alternating sides. We're going to do 5 on each side. So yeah, one day the air will be fine, the next day it will be terrible, then it'll stay terrible, then it'll be kind of okay, but not great. We just don't know. And I know that's beyond the Bay Area. It's kind of the whole West Coast right now. But we can only hope that it's going to get better. When you get to your 5 on each side, you're going to maintain your wide stance because we're going to stretch out our inner thighs. So coming down into this lateral lunge, keeping the weight back over the heel so your butt is heading back and you're kind of leaning the chest forward over the knee, alternating sides. You should feel a nice solid stretch on the inside of the leg. Only go as low as feels comfortable. Make sure the toes are staying pointed straight ahead. And we're going to go for 5 on each side. When you get to your 5, legs come together. We'll do some leg swings, some hip swings. You can hold on to something for balance if you need to. Otherwise, just let it fly. Make sure the area around you is clear so you're not hitting anything. We'll do 10 on each side. Let the momentum take your leg. Don't try to control the movement. I'm going to stop looking at the camera because it makes me fall over. And when you hit 10 on one side, you're going to switch to the other side. I got to concentrate to keep my balance. Whee! It's like kicking a soccer ball or something. I would imagine. I'm not a soccer player. I love watching it, but I'm not a player. Okay. 10 on each side. Then we're going to do some knee pulls, grabbing the knee in, pulling it towards the chest. Alternating sides. We'll just do 5 of these on each side. Keep it simple. When you get to 5 on each side, we're going to call that good. Nice short warm-up. All right. By the way, if you're a regular at these classes and you want a longer or more involved warm-up, I encourage you to do that before the class starts, because I do that for myself, and I tend to keep the oh my gosh, I can't speak. I tend to keep the warm-up fairly short, just so it doesn't intrude into class time too much, because I know I talk a lot and these tend to go over. Okay, make sure you have water handy, towel if you need it. And we're gonna start with core. 3 core exercises, we're doing them one at a time, 30 seconds per set. We're gonna start with a plank variation. Now, if the plank variation doesn't feel good, you can do a regular plank for this, either down on the elbows or up on the hands, making sure that your shoulders are supported either way. So if you're up on the hands, hands are right under the shoulders. If you're down on the elbows, elbows are right under the shoulders. But for today, we're gonna start with a plank with a little knee tuck. So it's like a slow motion mountain climber. If you want, you can twist with your knee tuck and bring opposite knee to opposite elbow. That's totally fine. I'm not going to do that because it hurts my back. But that is an option for you if you would like. 30 seconds. We're going to get right into it in 3, 2, 1, and timer's running. If you want to time for yourselves, you can, but I do recommend just following my timer because then you don't have to think about it on your end. We are halfway through. Make sure you are not dropping your head. Neck should be in line with the spine. We got 5 more seconds here. And 3, 2, 1, and take a break. All right, we're taking 30 seconds of rest time, diving into round 2. I think everybody who virtually attends these knows that you can take as much or as little rest time as you want or need. You don't have to adhere to what I'm doing. I generally go for about 30 seconds between sets. But if you need more or less, that is completely fine. It is all up to what feels good for your body. All right, coming into round 2 in 3, 2, 1. If you're timing with me, 30 seconds starts now. Make sure your hips and your shoulders are staying nice and level. You don't want your hips to hike up too high, and you don't want them to drop too low either. I feel like most people worry so much about having their butt way up in the air on the plank. 3, 2, 1, take a break. That I will very often see hips drop down too low, and that's where you can start to get a little bit of lower back strain. So be careful of that for yourself. Excuse me. My allergies have been kicking in with the smoke being back. It's no fun, people. It's no fun. But at least right now it's not so bad that you can't go out for walks and things. It's still firmly in the orange. Okay, last round of these planks in 3, 2, 1, and go. Make sure you're not letting your body creep backwards either. So, every 5 seconds or so, do a little check of where your hands are. And if they've started to kind of migrate, like out here in front, scooch back so that those shoulders are right over the hands again. Last 5 seconds. And 3, 2, 1, and break. All right, 1 down, 2 to go. Second exercise, we are doing a reverse crunch or a hip lift. You can do either one. They're basically the same thing. On your back, hands palm down on either side of your body. I'll turn slightly to the side so you can see. Now, reverse crunch standard is that you have your knees bent and then you're just lifting up. Now, you want to think of it as a lift up. You do not want to roll back towards your head because that does very little for your core muscles. So think about lifting the hips up towards the ceiling. That's where you can use your hands to kind of help boost you. Now you can also do this with straight legs or mostly straight legs and kind of use your toes to poke up towards the ceiling, and that can kind of help you get a little bit of extra lift. But again, you don't want to go back towards the head. That is not what we're looking for here. We'll do the same thing, 30 seconds. I will time it on my end. If you would like to time with my timer, I'm gonna see if I can use this can as a little prop here so I can actually see it. All right. In 3, 2, 1, and go. These are not about speed. Nothing I do is about speed. It's always about form. So don't try to get in as many reps as possible. Try to get in the most solid reps possible. We got 5 more seconds. And 3, 2, 1, and break. Again, because we're doing 30 seconds regardless, it's not a race. You're not trying to get to a certain number of boosts up into the air. You just want to make sure that every single boost is rock solid. So you want to make sure it's not coming back towards your head. You want to try to get a little bit of distance from the ground. And again, the amount of distance that you get from the ground is not really important. So you don't have to get your butt like 6 inches into the air. Half an inch is fine. You're just looking to make sure that you're lifting through the hips and not back towards the head. In 3, 2, 1, round 2. And if you are doing this correctly, you should feel it nice and low in the belly as the lower part of your transverse abdominis kicks in. These muscles are super, super, super essential for supporting your lower back, your pelvis, your spine. All right, we got 3, 2, 1, and break. And they're not a muscle that we use that often in everyday life. It's really, really good to do exercises like this. And actually our next exercise too is gonna work a lot of transverse abdominis to make sure that they're staying strong, especially if you have lower back issues. The transverse is going to be your best friend. 10 more seconds to rest, and then we'll go into our last round. Last 5. And 3, 2, 1, and lift. And lift. If it helps, you can also hang on to something above your head, like a couch leg or anything that's going to be stable, and that can give you a little bit more of an anchor point that'll make the lifting a little bit easier. Where are we at? 10 more seconds. Almost there, people. Almost there. There's 3, 2, 1. One more for good measure. I'm done. Okay. 2 out of 3. Done. We've got one more. This last one, easy peasy. This will be like the little vacation at the end of the core workout. So we're doing bike kicks. Bike kicks, not bicycle crunches. Main distinguishing factor being that the upper body is not really doing anything. So no rotation, just lifting off the ground. So we're just going for the legs on this one. So shoulders off the ground, hands supporting the neck. You can leave the shoulders down, but it will be easier to keep your lower back connected with the ground if your shoulders are curling up. And then we're just extending one leg at a time, alternating sides. The lower you get, the harder it's going to be on your low back, or the more challenging it will be on your core. So if you have lower back problems, I recommend staying pretty high. We're going to go for 30 seconds. And that's going to be that. Another thing for the lower back, if your lower back bothers you, you don't have to extend the leg fully straight. You can keep a little bit of a bend in it as you pedal, or whatever you want to call that, as you extend. All right, 30 seconds, and 3, 2, 1, and go. I like to do like a mid-range on these because I do have back issues. And this is kind of like my personal sweet spot, but everybody has their own sweet spot. And again, you want to keep these nice and slow and controlled. This is not a frantic pedaling motion. The more controlled you are, the more your muscles are working to keep the movement smooth. And take a break. All right, we have 2 more sets of those. And then the core will be done, and we will bust through some lower body. With 6 exercises total for full body time. We got 3 for the lower, 3 for the upper. I did the same thing 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago my last class was, and it kept the time to just about an hour. So I'm going to continue doing that. All right, 3, 2, 1, and go. What's interesting is that I'm such a quiet person in real life. I don't know why I end up talking so much in these videos, just yammering away. I think it's because otherwise it's just silence. So much silence. Three, 2, 1, and break. All right, last break, and then we're going for our 3rd set, final set. Then the core is done. Oops, gotta start my watch here. That'll keep me on track, so I don't go over time. 10 more seconds to rest, and then we're gonna go for 1 more round. And 3, 2, 1, last one. Make sure you're breathing. Don't stop breathing. Don't stop breathing. That's my new trainer song. Totally plagiarized. And 3, 2, 1, and done. All right. Nicely done, folks. I know I can't see you, but I know you did a great job. Grab some water if you need it. And we will move on to the gluteus, the glutei. We're gonna do some simple glute kickbacks, standing glute kickbacks. So we've done these probably 50 times at this point in this class, so you know the drill if you've been here before. Standing leg stays nice and soft through the knee, so the work is happening in the quad and not putting stress on the joint. Other leg is straight, and then you're just lifting back. Try to keep the foot straight, so you're not lifting with the toe turned out here. You're keeping the foot straight ahead and lifting. You're going to get a little bit of a natural turnout at the very end of the movement, but when you start the movement, straight ahead, not out. You should feel a squeeze, and you can put one hand on your butt. If you want to feel and make sure that the glute is working, you should feel the glute contracting, releasing, contracting, releasing every time you lift your leg. We're doing 20 on each side. Everybody can count for themselves at home because I don't want you to be beholden to the pace that I am setting for myself. These can be as slow or as fast as you want. So without further ado, please begin. 20 on the right, 20 on the left, at your own pace. Try not to tip forward too much. I'm going to keep our body nice and upright and open. Switch legs when you hit your 20. And if you need to hold on to the wall or something for balance, that's okay. Remember, don't lock out the knees. When you get to 20 on the other side, take a wee break. And I mean wee as in small, not as in pee. All right, I'm timing 30 seconds to rest before we head into round 2. Again, these rest breaks are timed for me. If you need more or less, you can time whatever you prefer. We're doing 3 total sets of this, so if you're timing shorter rest breaks, just dive back in and go for 2 more rounds. All right, round 2. Either leg can start, doesn't matter. Ooh, we're gonna get them both anyway. I'll move back one step there. See, it's so quiet when I don't talk. That's why I talk so much. And then when you get to 20 on each side, you're taking your second break. Ta-da! All right, 30 seconds to rest. Oops, there we go. And then we're heading into one more round before we move on and get the rest of our GAMs. 15 more seconds to rest. I suppose I could have done less than 30 seconds. 30 seconds seems like a lot for this one, but we're already in it, so we're gonna finish it. Okay, last round. Again, either leg can start. Makes no difference. And when you get to 20 on one side, switch. And when you get to 20 on this side, I can't talk. When you get to 20 on the other side, take a break before we head into our next exercise. All right, we're gonna be doing a single leg sit down, stand up. We've done these before. If you've been attending, you will need a surface for this. Something chair height. I'm using my couch. You can use a couch, a chair, a high coffee table, anything that's going to be super stable because you're going to be transferring your weight onto it, and then super stable in the sense that it's not going to move anywhere. So if you're using a chair, make sure that chair is like pushed up against a wall because there's going to be a little bit of momentum as you stand and you don't want that chair to go flying out from under you. So single leg, one leg planted, one leg raised. You're going to be sitting down and standing up. So it's basically like a single leg squat, but with support. We're going to be doing 12 on each side. Now, if the single leg version really doesn't feel okay, you can do these both legged, sit down, stand up, or you can just go for some regular squats. I do recommend trying the single leg if it feels at all within range of mobility and strength and confidence, because it's kind of fun and it's a really good workout for your quad and your glutes. We're doing 12 per side whenever you're ready. Again, counting on your own at home. Either leg can start. Make sure as you come up that you are pushing through the heel. Arms can be wherever they need to be. So if you want them out to the sides for balance, that's fine. I tend to keep mine in front of my chest. And again, not a race. Go as slow or as fast as feels good for you. Just don't go too fast, because you don't want to rely too much on momentum. You want to rely on the strength of your quads. It's really good for your knees, by the way. Really good strengthening the muscles that support your knees. When you get to 12 on one side, go ahead and switch to the other. And you don't have to balance the whole time with the other leg. If you need to tap that foot down in between reps, totes fine. No need. I like to try to balance just as like a bonus challenge, but it is by no means necessary. Try to keep the chest open so you're not leaning forward as you come up. You want to try to keep the chest as upright as you can, just like you would with a squat. And then when you get to 12 on the other side, go ahead and take a break. I know these take a minute. I realize that. Our leg exercises this evening are all unilateral, meaning that we're doing them, they're like one-sided. So they are going to take just a smidge longer than they would otherwise. All right, 30 seconds to rest for me. If that rest time feels good for you, please time along with me. We got 2 more sets of these. We're gonna do some lunges next. I know everybody loves lunges. Might be the only person I know who actually genuinely really likes lunges. I don't know. I liked them even before I was a trainer, so it's not just because I'm a trainer. Round 2, if you're ready. Again, either leg can start. Whatever pace you want to set. When you get to 12 on one side, dive right into the other side. And when you get to 12 on the other side, take a little break. All right, second rest, 30 seconds, then we got 1 more set. And then we'll move on to our lunges. Our lunges. I don't know about you all, but this week is absolutely dragging for me. The past, what has it been, like 6 months of quarantine? Just about. I feel like I blinked and it was gone. And then just like the past 3 days, man, it's been molasses, slow as molasses in January. Okay, last round of these, 12 per side. Get into it. I don't know if that's just like an East Coast expression, because we don't really get winter that much out here. But when I was growing up, grew up in Vermont, and that was one of my mom's favorite expressions. When my sister and I were like taking too long, for something she'd be like, "You guys are slower than molasses in January." She's not Southern. I don't know why I had like a little Southern accent. But it's still one of my favorite expressions. All right, when you finish 12 on one side, you're heading into your final 12 on the other side. See these go by fast-ish. And if you've ever aspired to doing a single leg squat or a pistol squat, this is a really good first step. You're building the exact same muscles that you need for both of those things. I would try the single leg squat before I would try the pistol squat. Pistol squats are very, very difficult, very specialized, completely unnecessary, unless you're just trying to impress people or impress yourself, then they're fine, but not a requirement by any means. When you hit your 12, On the final side, let yourself breathe, grab some water, relax, try not to stop moving completely. You do want to keep a little bit of a heart rate, you do want to keep yourself warm, so try not to sit and stop. Even just like stepping side to side or swinging your arms or something to keep the blood flowing. Okay, last one for the leggies. We are doing a lunge to balance. Simple, straightforward. If you have weights at home that you want to use for this, you are more than welcome to do so. I am just doing body weight here. But if you have hand weights that you want to hold at the sides or kettlebells or anything like that, totally fine. Either leg can start. We're stepping back into a lunge. I always go back, I never go forward. Much nicer on the knees. Dropping down at that lunge, coming up into a balance. So that foot is going to stay in the air between every single rep. And then you're stepping back into that lunge, down, up into your balance, back into the lunge, up into your balance. So we're doing all one side, all the other side. If the balance is not comfortable for you, just tap that toe down and balance on the toe before you step back. But again, encourage you to try the balance. If it feels even a little bit comfortable, just play with it. We're doing, how many? 12 on each side. 12 on each side. I had to look at my programming. Okay, either side can start. Again, all one side at a time. Whenever you're ready, go for it. In your lunge, make sure the back knee does not touch the floor. Make sure your upper body is staying upright and balanced over both legs. And you kind of want to aim for like a right angle in your front and your back knee at the bottom of the lunge, with most of the work happening in that front leg. As you press up, the back leg is balancing with that toe, but as you come up, you really want most of the force coming through the front heel. And when you get to 12 on one side, go ahead and switch to the other. I know my head is partially cut off every time I come up, but it doesn't matter because you don't actually need to see my face for this. All right. Or for any of it, really. It's not about the face. Again, same thing. You can see the legs are hitting a 90-degree angle, right angle. Nice little square in each knee. The reason you don't want to put too much weight on the back leg or shift too much weight to the back leg as you come down is it gets really stressful on that knee because the knee is taking most of the weight down. It's just got the toe to balance it versus the front leg, which has your entire flat foot on the ground in a very stable position. So if you can avoid stressing your knees, do it. They're fragile. I mean, they're strong, but they're also fragile. All right, when you get to 12 on either side, take a break. That is actually one of my favorite things about the human body. If I can take a moment to nerd out a little bit here, is that if you think about the stress that we put on our bodies mentally, physically, internally, externally, every single day, think about how strong you must be to literally like just get through the day. It's mind-blowing, mind-blowing. But then on the flip side of that, if you make like one small wrong move, you can completely like tear the muscles in your shoulder or like break something. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. Strong and fragile at the same time. All right, when you're ready, we're starting off on round 2, 12 on each side. If 12 feels really excruciating to you, you can drop the reps to 10. That's absolutely fine. I wouldn't go below 8, but 8 or 10 is fine. If it feels so easy, go for 15. I know these take a minute, but you know, you're stuck with me for an hour, so challenge yourself. And when you get to 12 on one side, switcheroonie to the other side. Okay, I'm never saying switcheroonie again. I heard how it sounded coming out of my mouth, and I instantly regretted it. It's like lately I started saying whoopsie doodles for no reason. No idea where it came from. Dumbest sounding thing ever. Popped up in my vocabulary. I've been saying it, trying not to. And when you get to 12 on the other side, it is time for a break. Grab water if you need it. I'm actually going to time this rest. I didn't time the last one. I'm sweating. My heart rate's elevated. I can feel my quads doing some work. Hopefully, the same goes for you at home. Although, as I always say, sweat is not an indication of how challenging a workout is. It is simply your body and its very effective cooling mechanism. So if your body heats up a lot when you work out, you'll probably sweat more. If your core temperature tends to run a little bit lower, like mine, you'll probably sweat less. All right, last round. Again, either side starts. It doesn't matter. We're going to do them both anyway. So I always say, if you ever have a trainer or a class instructor, anything like that, who uses like the gauge of, how sweaty is your t-shirt at the end of class to judge how hard you worked. Nope. Not correct. Other side. Last two. For me, wherever you are, finish up your set and then take a little breather. We are done with our legs and we're moving on to the upper body. So this is where you'll want your light hand weights or food cans. What do we have today? We have some black beans and we have some Amy's organic soup. Generally, things like cans of beans or soup run about £1. If you do have like actual hand weights at home, you want something that's going to be under 5 pounds, definitely under 5 pounds. In the 1 to 3 range is ideal. But we are starting with push-ups. Who'd have thunk it? An Eliza class with push-ups, what? Such a surprise. I'm doing 10 reps. You can do as many as you would like. My general preference for clients and such, people I'm training, is that you challenge yourself a little bit more. If it means doing fewer reps, that's okay. But kind of trying something new, as long as it doesn't hurt and it's within your mobility and strength range. If you can only do 3 full push-ups, do 3 full push-ups and then take the rest on the wall or take the rest on your knees. You can fluctuate between mediums, but wall, couch, knees, fully on the toes, whatever modification you need for these, the form is always the same. So I'm going to be up on my toes for at least the first set. I might lose it for the last ones because I'm tired, but for form, core is engaged. So what you want to make sure is that, I call it like the scared dog, that you've got like a little tuck through your pelvis. And for comparison, if you let your core go, you see how my back just completely deflates and gives out, lower back specifically. Tuck. And now it's all strong. It's all strong and resistant because the core is engaged. So you want to maintain that tuck for your push-ups. And then you want to make sure that your head's not dropping down to the ground or like turtlenecking out in front of you as you come down. You want to keep it in line like you would in a plank, you want to keep it in line with your spine. The arms are not going out. The arms are going back. So I'll do this one on my knees. 45-degree angle, back and up. I see a lot of push-ups doing this very often, like that. Now. We're going back. Hands should be slightly wider than shoulder width apart and just about under the shoulders if you're up on your toes or knees. All right, I'm going for 10. If you want to go for more or for less, depending on where you're at, that's fine. Pick the modification that works for you. And whenever you're ready, let's get into it. Just keep that core engaged. When you get to your 10, take a break. Lordy, these are really hard for me today for some reason. My body's just not having it. I might switch to my knees, folks. Always listen to your body. If your muscles are screaming at you, take a step back. It's not worth getting injured. We're going to do 2 more sets. And then we're going to move on. All right. I'm going to dive into round 2 again. Take as long or as short a rest break as you need. I'm going to do these on my knees, which means that I'm going to do a couple more than 10. All right, when you're done, take your second break. I'll time on this one just to keep myself on track. I'm taking 30 seconds and then going into the last set. One thing I always say is like, there should be no pride or arrogance in exercise, because that's a really good way to get injured. So don't feel like you have to prove something. You always want to challenge yourself a little bit, but if your body feels exhausted or drained, like I feel today, just take a step back. Don't force yourself. Don't push yourself past the point of exhaustion. It's not healthy. All right, last set. Whenever you're ready, make sure you're breathing. Try to exhale as you push up. And when you're done, take a break, grab water, towel off. I'm going to clear my mat away so I have a little bit more room for my feet. We're not going to be on the floor for the rest of the class, so if you want to switch a mat or such aside, go for it. We are moving onwards with one of my faves, our YWs. I do this one a lot in class, as you know. You're going to want your little hand weights. Now again, this can be done with body weight. You don't have to use the hand weights. If you've been coming to these classes for a while, you're probably at the point where you do want hand weights, because you've probably reached a point of strength where you will want hand weights. But if not, try it without the hand weights first, see how it feels, make sure the form is correct, and then add the hand weights on. So we're going to be bending forward. I should say leaning forward. We're not bending, we're pushing back through the bum and keeping a nice flat back as you come down, nice and soft in the knees. If you picture a door behind you, try to shut it with your butt, and you will achieve what we're looking for. Then we're going to be lifting our arms up into a Y, pulling down and back into a W. So you don't want your elbows in tight to your sides. You want a little bit of space. what I like to picture is that there's like a bar above my head, and I'm grabbing that bar and I'm pulling it down, a bar like a trapeze. So if you're holding a solid bar, you will not be able to change the position of your hands or your elbows. They will be locked into this one plane through the whole thing, which is what you want. So you're going back into your Y, down into your W, back into your Y, down into your W. Now, as you lift, get a little closer here so you can see my neck. What you don't want to happen is this, because this is really tense and it's not comfortable and it's really bad for your neck. Drop those shoulders, pull down, keep them dropped through the whole thing. You do not want to add extra tension to your neck because the Lord knows that is where most people carry most of their stress and their tension, especially if you're at a computer all day and your head's here and your shoulders are here. All this weak and tight at the same time. So down and back. We're going for 15. If 15 does not feel good, pick 10 or more, 20 or less, somewhere in that range for you. All right, pushing back through the hips, lifting up into that Y, pull down for 15. Try to keep the glutes engaged, keep the core engaged. And when you hit 15, take a little breather. I'm gonna, we don't need to time. I put my timer away. I'll just wing it. Just winging it. Who needs a timer? Not I. Stay hydrated, folks. I just did this really cool course on sleep fitness. And it's pretty fascinating. I'm hoping to be able to share some of the stuff that I learned on my social medias, as Phoebe Robinson would say, my social media accounts, just like little tidbits here and there about things to think about with the importance of sleep. All right, next round when you're ready. And basically, the upshot is that it is maybe the most important wellness component out of everything that we do. Definitely equal to nutrition and exercise in terms of the effects that it has on your brain, like the good effects, but potentially even more important. And most people don't get enough sleep. I think that I should say most Americans. Americans have this like pride thing. And it's like not getting enough sleep is like something to brag about. When you get 15, take a break. And you're like, oh, I pulled an all-nighter. Oh man, I was out until like 4 a.m. And then I had to get up at 7 and go right to work. It's not hardcore. You're literally killing your brain and setting yourself up for things like Alzheimer's and dementia and just like the stress havoc, I should say, that you're wreaking on your body is immense, like really, really immense. And it takes a long time to fix a damaged sleep pattern. So don't feel like a grandma if you go to bed at 9:30 or 10 at night, because that is actually how most humans, like 40% of humans their circadian rhythms are wired for like a 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. schedule, which sounds wild because, waking up at 5 a.m. doesn't seem normal, but that is the natural, like primal pattern. And then 30% are night owls, 30% are kind of midway in between. We're on our last round, by the way. When you get to 15, you're done. Set your weights aside. Come on over here. We got one more for the arms. Then we'll have a little bit of a cool down, and then we'll be done. grab water when you need it. Am I doing okay on time? Ooh, yeah, pretty good. Okay, excellent. Last one we have on the roster for tonight are some tricep dips. Good old tricep dips. So once again, the surface or object that you used for your sit down get ups will also work for your tricep dips. You'll want the same level of stability, the same height. So double purpose on these. So multiple levels for the tricep dips. Hands are going to start nice and tight into the hips, and then you're just scooching your butt right off the edge of that surface, and you're going to keep it pretty close in. Then the elbows are bending, and you're pushing up. Again, try not to tense the shoulders up around the ears. Keep them nice and away. You can go down as low as you want or stay as shallow as you want. Legs start at a right angle. If that's too easy, midway, and then if that's too easy, straighten out. If that's too easy, cross one leg over the other. You can pick your level with what feels good for you. We are going to aim for 15, 1-5. So whenever you're ready, find your dip position and proceed. Make sure the elbows are going straight back and not winging out to the sides. And don't stop breathing. Don't stop breathing. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I don't know if I can get like copyright infringement for that if I just sing that one line, but I'm not gonna take the chance. I also changed the lyrics, so maybe they wouldn't know. I don't know. We got 2 more sets of that, and then we're gonna cool down. I stopped timing the rest breaks because I put my timer away, and it seemed like a hassle to go back and get it. So counting in my head, we're heading into round 2. And by hassle, I mean, taking the one step to where it is, honestly. When you get to 15, take a breather. I recommend not sitting and stopping. Again, I know that you're conveniently kind of already sitting with these, but please try to come up to the feet, pace, walk around, move, keep the blood moving, because we're not done yet, and we don't want to cool down too much. We want to keep the muscles warm, and by muscles, I mean muscles, obviously. All right, we got 1 more set, and then we're done. Whenever you're ready, get into it. When you hit your 15, you are finished. Give yourself a pat on the back. Take a bow. We're going to cool down a little bit, and I am going to talk at you about the future. So clasp the hands behind the back. Pull forward through the chest, and really stretch out the fronts of those shoulders and your pectorals. And by talk about the future, I mean I am changing the time of class permanently going forward. I decided this today, and when you're ready, bending all the way forward, you can keep the arms clasped or you can let them loose and let yourself hang. But here's the thing. Again, with this sleep workshop that I did, it had a big influence on my thought process, but essentially multiple reasons. One thing is that the ideal time for humans, come on up to standing, to work out is late morning, like between 9 and noon, because that is when, again, our circadian rhythms are set up for maximum alertness. As you get towards bedtime, like late afternoon, your body is literally slowly putting itself to sleep in preparation. Come on down to one side and just hang out here. And I feel that more intensely during quarantine for sure. And then now that the days are getting shorter, more intensely with the earlier darkness. So by the time I hit 5:30 these days, go ahead and switch sides. My energy levels are so low that the workout doesn't feel good. It feels not good. And that is never how I want workouts to feel. So this is mostly a selfish decision, but I've also had feedback from a couple people that morning would be better or preferable in terms of workout time. I'm going to do a couple of those knee pulls, but we're going to hold it. So grab onto the knee and then just hold the stretch. So going forward, I believe that I'm going to start having class at 10 a.m. Pacific on Wednesdays instead of 5:30 p.m. And then I'll see if that works going forward. If it doesn't and nobody ever shows up, then I'll look into changing it again, but I'm going to try that at least for a few weeks. Because, yeah, it's just really, really, really hard to stay motivated for the evening workout. Plus, I have some peeps on the East Coast where it's like a little bit on the later side to work out. We're done. We're good. I'm still talking, but we're good. Yeah, there are definitely folks on the East Coast that have requested, so dark, hello, light, come to me. Whatever. That have requested different times just because 8:30 is like not ideal again for a workout. It's a little late. So I'm going to play around with switching. If you have feedback about a time that's preferable even to 10 a.m., please leave it in the comments. Other than that, I will see you next week, 10 a.m. Pacific time on Wednesday. Wednesday is staying the same. The day is not going to change. Please like, please subscribe, leave requests in the comments. I'm happy to do custom videos now that I'm off of my like little birthday vacation and back in the swing of things. Thank you for joining me this evening. Please go eat some good food, take care of yourselves, hydrate, get some rest, and I will see you next week. Mwah! Good night. Good night.